we should be able.
Perfect. Here we are here. Awesome. That is just awesome. Amazing. Welcome, dear Flory. I truly happy. I'm really happy that you join us as a special guest to talk about healing emotional wounds for a for a yes, a lasting success. So I was saying that most of the people in this community, they are not familiar with this kind of material, which is the best, okay, in my point of view, because I came across this material with Bob Proto. He's gone now. God bless him. You know, he's a legend when it's come to personal development. And I purchased one of his marvelous program. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. My goodness, it was so powerful. And I learned a lot from this program, right? And since ever, I just fell in love with this material, right? And I can't afford to miss out on the opportunity to share freely to everyone, right? To introduce to everyone this material because I know that it will benefit them. They will learn a lot from it and get their life, to the next level, right? And this kind of service, we are doing it for free, right? Because people must be aware of the inner potential, right? The inner resources and tap into the higher faculties in the aim at, let's say, creating a magnificent life. They have to, I truly believe that everyone deserves to live life in their own terms, right? That's why I created this kind of initiative, which purpose to gather people from different parts of the world to talk about critical, subjects, right? Issues, topics related to personal development, science, etc., so that people live better, right? And we are so really lucky that you reached promptly the decision to offer for free. I'm gonna stress on that for free. Your vast wisdom, right? Uh, to us, to my community in Africa, and we are so grateful for doing that. You are, let's say, showing the path for people. You are creating, a legacy, right? And people can reach out to you at any time for your service, so that you help them to become the best version that they are meant to be, right? So thank you so very much, Flory. So we're gonna talk about everything, but especially healing wounds for a lasting success. So without any further ado, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Thank you so much. Once again, my deepest gratitude.
Thank you. And hello to the community. My friend George is on. He's a barber. You can see him. He's cutting hair.
Yes,
George, I want
yes.
you to meet. I want you to meet
Hi.
Jerome. If you Jerome is in Africa, George.
Yes.
So crazy. He'll come on later. I know he's busy. I'm glad he's joining just so he can visualize. I don't know. Is there anyone else on your end that is in right now, Jerome, or we're just going to record and you'll show it to the community later, or are people joining us live?
Yes, they are joining, right? Live. They are
Is there
joining.
anyone else on? Because I don't see anyone else on yet. Are they on?
Really? Yes, we are 10. 10
Oh,
attendees.
I don't see any.
You can check.
Oh, I don't see any.
See
I
on
don't
the
see
bottom
any
of
faces.
your laptop, please. You're gonna see 10
Yeah,
people.
but why? Okay. How? Okay. Hello, everyone, but I don't see the pictures on my screen.
Oh,
Are they on?
you're
Huh.
gonna see,
Hello, good
you
evening.
may, can you say that?
Um, nope. I only see the three of us.
Oh, okay. You want them to turn on the camera, right?
I would love to see their faces. Yes.
Okay, guys.
Uh-huh.
This is a special request from Flory, our special guest. So, if it is possible for you, please turn on your camera so that we see one another, because yes, I may resonate with that. By the simple fact that we can see one another, right? We release energy, right? Yes, it's all
Absolutely.
about energy circulating. So please don't hesitate to turn on your camera if it is possible. If you are not in a noisy environment, please do such a favor, okay? Thank you so
So
much.
Jerome,
Hello, good evening.
hello, beautiful. Hello, everyone. And Jerome, I want you to meet a few of my community. First, my husband, Bobby. It looks like he might be driving but that's my husband. My dear friend, Erica. She is also a healer, and I'm going to call on her maybe to shed some light. So we've got some amazing people from my community as well.
That is
So
awesome.
let me start and exactly what you said, Jerome. And I think that might be George.
Yes. Would you mind muting him, please? Because since you are the host, the co-host, you only have the right to do so. Right?
You're the host. I'm only the co-host, so you can mute.
Let me check.
But everyone can just mute theirs until they share.
Yes, please. Okay, if you join, unless you want to say hello to Flory, yes. But but then afterward you can mute your mic if possible, please. And I'm gonna recognize the presence of my professor, Flory. She's a great lady, a mom. She's so dear to my heart. Professor Wensabe, please welcome. She was for 2 times our minister, right? And she was a great personality. So welcome, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Flory.
Thank you for joining, and thank you for this initiative. And Jerome and I got on this call a little bit early and had fascinating conversation already. And
I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, I wanted to start by reinforcing what Jerome said about people coming on camera and having a voice, right? Because we do get energy from our visual presence. And Erica and Bobby, they all know when I do my training online, I'm always asking people to come on camera because I think there is, such an energy. So
please, Flory,
Jerome,
I lost the right to mute people. Someone is producing noise, right? Independently of him. For sure. So would you mind muting him? Ibrahim. Yes.
I'm not sure I know.
Somebody named Tahoe you or something.
You can do
it.
What, Bobby?
It's somebody named Sahahu or Sahahu.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes. Okay. Let me see. You can mute him, please.
I don't know how to mute. How do I mute just one person?
Just go to participants, right? Attendees.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yes, and then you will see, you click on the button, you will see mute or unmute the mic. It's at your right top. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like they're all muted.
Okay, let me reclaim the post. Where should I proceed? Just a minute, please.
I see that name, Bobby, and he looks like on my screen that he's muted.
Okay. I'll get it fixed, please. Just a second.
Oh, wait, I just did it. I think I just got it.
Wow, congratulations.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, he was unmuted and muted. All right, now we can go. So nice to see everyone, and thanks, Erica, Bobby, and George, my loves of my lives who are joining, and everyone out there in Africa, which is a crazy thing to even say. And so, Jerome, let me start with what we spoke about a few minutes ago, and then you can prompt us with questions. And I say us because everyone else in our community has very valuable insight. And there's Ivan. Ivan, wave at everybody. Jerome, Ivan is a member of our team, and he's in Costa Rica. He is working and living for a month or so in Costa Rica to expand his horizons, and he's an entrepreneur. So this is really fabulous. So I think we'll start with some of the topics we spoke about, and then you can ask questions or your community can ask questions if that works out. So we talked about originally, I don't know, I have another, okay, I just muting somebody else. All right, I like the power. I get to mute everybody. Okay, so I just muted somebody else. I'm sorry if you wanted to be on, just let me know if you have a question. So listen, we started by talking about healing emotional wounds, but our relationships and our emotions are only one piece of our life, correct? And that is something that you and I started to talk about. And you can see that behind me in this construct that we have at Awakened Events, which is our company, that our life is really made up of these pieces. So I'm just going to share a screen because I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page with this idea. So that's the name of our company, which is Awakened Events. There's a alarm clock because really the message is to wake up to the power that is in you. Jerome, you and I were sharing books a few minutes ago, and we couldn't believe how many we had in common, right?
Yes,
every one of these authors is saying the same thing, that we are powerful. So the real question becomes, why aren't we tapping into the power that we have? Why aren't we waking up? And the answer is people want to, but they don't know how. So it is not enough to know, you need to know how. So our company logo is an alarm clock, and the name of the company is Awakened Events, abbreviated AWE, which is live a life in awe and realize how much awe is in you. So here is our model, which talks about the 5 pieces of your life. So your relationships and your emotions and your wounds are one piece of the puzzle. However, it could be an overriding piece of the puzzle if it is not healed or if it is not whole. So does that make sense, Jerome? You have any questions about that?
Not yet. I think we can move on.
All right, so these are the 5 pieces.
Okay, how do you combine all these different, aspects to make someone a fulfilled person?
Okay, so the first thing is they have to be aware that they exist, these pieces, right? So people need to understand and look at each of the pieces of their life. So physical, are they physically healthy? Because as much as mindset is crucial, right? I showed you this poster before.
Yes.
Right? As crucial as mindset is, if you are not feeling physically healthy, that's going to affect everything. So all of these, step 1 is to be aware they exist. So the first is, how is your physical health? And that's not just nutrition, it's everything. It's how are you moving? How are you eating, right? But your physicality. The next piece is your relationships and your emotions. The third piece, aspirational, those are your goals. Do you have goals? Do you have purpose? Right? The fourth one is cerebral. That's your work or your school. And ethereal is your vibration and spirit. So you ask me, how do you make sure that all of these pieces are healthy? Step 1 is make sure you know they exist. Okay, is that good? We're good to go? Keep going? So we could basically have an entire seminar, an entire session on any one of these pieces, but you're choosing for us today to focus on emotions, correct?
Yes.
We'll focus on that. And I'm going to talk about that more in a moment. Maybe Erica will join, maybe George will join, anyone who wants to. But the truth is, nothing exists in a vacuum. So your relationships and your emotions and your limiting beliefs, all of it is still in the context of all of these other pieces. Hello, Francine. So Jerome, Francine joined. She's the way I met you.
Francine on the call? Wow, fantastic. Welcome, Francine. How are you doing?
I think she's muted.
I'm so excited that you joined us.
See all the people that came on to be with me and support us?
Is she around? Wow, welcome.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm having a sinus day. So
well, we're thrilled that you joined. Again, for those of you who don't know, Francine is a psychic, medium, business strategist extraordinaire, and she's the way that I met Jerome. And then Jerome invited me today. So, talk about the puzzle pieces being connected. Our entire life is about a network of connections, right?
absolutely.
And so we have so much talent and wisdom right now on this Zoom. So we can pretty much talk about any one of these topics that will lead to people being their most happiest, fulfilled, best version of themselves. And it starts with the awareness of all the pieces.
Absolutely.
So I think Jerome wants to talk mostly about emotional wounds, correct, Jerome?
Sure.
So the question I have for you, Jerome, is
Yes.
why is that such an important topic for your community?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I came to realize that everything is about emotion, right? You may be, let's say, the most skillful person in the world, but if you are not really you are not a master of your emotions, you're not going to really achieve something meaningful in life, right? So I really think that mastering emotions, our emotions are powerful and paramount when it's come to achieving success, right? For instance, because I used to say people, the giants in personal development talk about vibration. They say that everything is energy, right? It is about vibration. Like Albert Einstein put it very well. He said everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you will not get help. But you will achieve whatever it is that your heart desire, right? So, and I believe that energy is about emotion, mastering emotions, right? Vibrations. And you will be it is a great battle, right? If you don't master your emotions, you will you will struggle really to make success, right? So, and we're going through a lot of trouble, right? A lot of emotional pains, right? And yes, you can see a number of people get betrayed, right? Disappointment, everything. How we get here, and be really open-minded to achieve whatever it is that, I mean, our definite purpose, definite um uh, uh, definite chief aim in life. That's it, right? So and I receive a lot of requests about these aspects, right? And I think that you are the best one to talk about it and to make people get aware of that. But most of what, I mean, um the what I truly want, I would love for you to come up with relevant tips, right? I mean, strategies, a sample step, sample formula that people can, I mean, sample principles that people can put into action and get results for skyrockets. That's the really the main issue. That's the core of my concern or interest about this topic, right? So for me and to everyone here, the emotional aspect is the difficult one to master, right? And until you master your emotional states, you're not going to vibrate, okay, for the success you desire. That's it. So it is very paramount. And you are the
Well,
best.
Jerome, you just summed up the entire mission of my life and the company mission, which is to give people tools in all the pieces so they can maximize their potential and aim toward a life of happiness, which is what everybody wants.
Absolutely.
And it is not enough to know about it. You need to know how. So when you said, can we give a formula? Most people in your community obviously don't know me, but I'm a mathematician by training. So my background is analytics and deduction. My 2 PhDs are all in science. And then because life gave me some challenges, as you and I talked about the slingshot.
Yes.
And because I had some challenges, I went on a spiritual journey, which is actually how I met Erica 20 years ago. And now I have combined that business mathematical side with the mindful spiritual side, because it is the combination that is going to get you where you desire. So you talked about emotions. There is an entire discipline called emotional intelligence. And it is my favorite topic because it really underlies everything we do. So let me start with a few concepts, and then anyone who wants to join in, or if you or your community has questions. But I'm all about giving tips, because without the tools, then it's motivational but not implementable. So I also tend to talk really quickly because I have lots of energy. So if you want me to slow down, you just let me know.
Okay.
What I put on the screen, can you see that, Jerome, the emotional scale? Are you seeing that screen?
Yes.
So this is one of our tools from our workbook, if you will, that, remember I said, if you're going to look at all the pieces of your life, you first have to be aware they exist. Well, if you're going to look at your emotions, you have to be aware of what they are and where you are. So this is a very simple model, and there's a poster behind me right here, that when you are feeling anything that's in the A area, you're happy and you're joyous and you want to stay there. But then life happens, work happens, kids happen, stress happens, and you kind of move out of what we call this vortex, which is when you are happy and you go into this transitional or this life draining, right? So we have these three big areas. I mean, there's a lot more emotions than I've listed here, but these are just to get us going. Does this make sense to you, Jerome?
Yes.
Okay, so the picture, I'm just finding it, this is my workbook. So the picture is, I got to find my pictures. Hold on. The picture is basically that you want to stay in this vortex. I'm in a different book right now, but all right, I'll get back to that in a second. That you want to stay into this life-giving versus moving out of this zone. Because when you are in joy, happiness, appreciation, gratitude, optimism, then you can create. You and I talked about imagination. You don't have an imagination if you're in B or C. You just don't have it. You have to be in A to have imagination. So the goal is really, how can we get back to A if we're not in it? And how can we stay in A if we're in it? Is that clear? Does that resonate?
Yes.
What people also don't realize is giving language to your emotions is key. So some people will say, let me check again.
Est-ce que la copie est encore valable? Non, refais la copie.
Right, I have to go out so I can see people, so I can mute. Let's see. Okay.
Yes, it is done.
Yep, let me come back in.
And show you. Apologize.
Yeah, it's all good. You can't be in stress and in awe, so whatever. Okay, so the first thing is to identify where you are. So right now, for the audience that's out here right now, just start to think about what percentage of your life is in A and what percentage is in B and C. Because if you are not happy most of the time, you're not going to create. If you're not happy most of the time, you're not going to become supernatural. If you're not happy, you're not going to get what you ask for. If you're not happy, you're not going to become metahuman. So the name of the game to create everything that you desire is to make sure that you are happy. And that's where people go astray. They're not even looking at their thoughts. Because as you know, we talked about Joe Dispenza. What you think creates your health and creates your ability to manifest. Therefore, if you are not thinking happy thoughts, if you are not thinking positively, if you are not looking at life as you and I spoke through rose-colored glasses, then you are not going to get what you want. So you want the first tip tool, technique is to evaluate your thoughts. Jerome, do you know how many thoughts we have per day?
Almost, I think, 6,000.
60,000.
Oh yeah, 60. Sorry, 60.
Right.
60,000.
And how many of those thoughts do you think are negative for most people?
Oh, I have no clue. No clue.
55,192.
My goodness.
92%. So, do you think most people have the ability to manifest? No.
No. And then
right.
Yes, then I've got a question for you, right? How to master, right, most of our thoughts, okay? When you get surrounded with, different kind of people, well, let's say pushing you down, criticizing you, releasing such a bad energy on you.
Boy, that's
a lot of trouble is going on right now in the world, right? And you can relate to that.
There's so much I want to say. There's so much Erica, George, Bobby, and Francine want to say. This is what we talk about at all of our seminars. And it is a very big question. And we have many answers to it, but being that we have an hour together, I'm going to make sure that we give a few takeaways. But you and I also talked about doing a virtual course for your community. So yes. I want the people listening that are in your community to give you feedback if they would like a course on this content, because it is much bigger than the next 30 minutes. However, I can still break it down and give you some takeaways for today. Step number one is, well, I'll come to you, Francine, in 1 second. Thank you. Step number one is always being aware of where you're at. So you cannot change anything if you're not aware. So you just asked me a question is, how do you change your thoughts? Well, there's a lot of techniques on how to change your thoughts, but you first have to be aware that it's a negative thought. So most people don't even analyze or make space to look at their thoughts. They think their thoughts are facts. Your thoughts are not facts. Your thoughts are just thoughts. And you can change them and look at them any way you want. You choose your thoughts. Quick example. You're having a conversation with your mom. Poor mothers, we get a bad rap. You're having a conversation with your mom and she says something that annoys you. She says something about you shouldn't let the kids go out after 9 o'clock at night. I don't know. Now, you can either hear that as criticism, which would be negative, or you can hear that as my mom really cares but does not know how to express it. So we call that pivoting, reframing, better reaching thoughts. But the bottom line is every thought can be reframed to give you and the situation energy. And the irony of this is when you do it, it benefits you the most. It benefits you the most. Because then you will get yourself into this vortex, which is A, so that you can live this life of creative imagination. Francine, what did you want to say, my love? Francine, you're muted.
I think that I think that this is going to go well with the online thing, but people have to participate. And then maybe you can actually do something in Africa with the school, within this school, and Jerome can facilitate that.
Yes, absolutely. The sky is the limit, right? Because once we release our collective imaginations, I mean, I'll be flying to Africa tomorrow, something tells me, right? So yes, yes, up for all of this. So let's just back up, right? The construct is this construct of the vortex, where you want to be in this A zone. I'm going to get a few screens back up to show a few different things. So again, identifying where you're at and realizing that some of your thoughts are not helping you. Forget everybody else. They're not helping you. Okay, so far so good, Jerome?
Yes, perfect.
So one takeaway before we go any further is to analyze, evaluate, assess, think about your thoughts. It sounds crazy. Think about your thoughts. And once you think about them, change them and practice it until it becomes natural. When you first drive a car, there's a lot of steps, but then it becomes natural. You practice this so often that you won't even hear comments negative anymore. You will not even hear them. You'll have a translator that translates those comments. Because remember, many people talking to you, Jerome, if we said most people have negative thoughts, then the people talking to you are the negative people, right? Which means they're going to try to take you out of the zone.
Absolutely.
Have you heard the saying in Africa, misery loves company?
Come again?
Misery loves company. Have you heard that saying in Africa?
No, misery love company.
It's a terrible saying, but we know it here in the United States. It's misery loves company. I mean, what does that really mean? I'm so negative. I don't know how to...
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yes.
Okay, so you've got to remember that everybody around you, or many people around you, are trying to bring you down because they don't know any better. So I'm going to give 2 tips already. Tip 1, look at your thoughts and reframe them immediately and practice. Number 2, stay away from negative people. Okay, minimize your interaction with negative people. Does that make sense? Number 3, it is not enough to say, I feel happy or sad. Those are big emotions. The more granular, do you understand granular? The more you can break it down, the better. So look at this screen for a minute. Can you see that we have broken down the emotions on the left and we've broken them down on the right? So let's look at anger for a moment. If you look at my screen, anger, you can either be annoyed or you can be wretched. Do those have different vibrations, Jerome?
I don't think so.
So if someone says to you, I'm a little bit peeved, does that feel different than I'm wretched? I'm wretched.
Yes.
Right. It's a little more intense, right? Let's look at, let's see, unworthiness. I feel miserable or I feel pitiful. Okay, you get my point.
Yes.
So if you want to have emotional intelligence, in other words, intelligence about your emotions, you want to be as clear about how you're feeling as possible. That's another tip. You got it? Good. Okay. So the more you can express to the people around you how you feel, the more they can react and the more they can understand. All right. Good so far. Are we ready for another tip?
Yes.
Jerome, we ready? I keep going?
Yes.
All right. So now I'm going to talk about a concept called preferences, and it is a subset of emotional intelligence. So these are the components of emotional intelligence. And again, because of our timing, people who are emotionally intelligent can do these 5 things, Jerome. They are aware of who they are. They can regulate their behavior. Then they can motivate themselves. They have empathy, and they can network and build social relationships. That sounds like the formula for happiness, doesn't it? So you want a formula? It is having tools in each of those 5 areas. So let me give you an example of a tool to become aware. I don't know in Africa, in your community, how many tools you guys are familiar with, but have you heard of something called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. And then there's something called DISC, DISC, and there's a bunch of these inventories.
Yes, it showcases the different type of personality and the traits, etc.
Exactly. And by the way, you just used a great word. I'm big on words, right? I love words because words have vibration, right?
Yes.
So you said everything is energy. Words are energy. You just said that these instruments showcase personalities. The word showcase means highlights the strengths.
Absolutely.
I love it. Right. So whatever your personality is, you should be showcased. It's all good.
Wow.
It's a matter of understanding who you are. So let me give you an example. Everybody out there, and if I only can see Jerome, so I'm going to address him. But if everyone right now has, Jerome, do you have paper in front of you?
For sure. I have a sheet of paper and a pen.
Perfect. I want you to write just your first name, Jerome. Can you write your first name?
Sure. It is done.
And I hope everybody will do that. And then, Jerome, I want you to put the pen in your other hand and write your name.
Oh my gosh. I will never do that. Wow, it just reminds me the paradigm. Yeah.
What? Yes.
It's a remaining paradigm. And
you're using all my words, Jerome.
I can't write. Can't. It's not possible, right?
Try.
I mean, it may take a long time.
Just your first name. Show it to me. Show it to me.
I can't.
Let me tell you something. You're using all my favorite words. You said paradigm. Let me see. I can't see.
Can you see?
Oh, now I got it. Now I can. I don't know if they can.
It's not even visible, right?
So Jerome, you already answered the question. When you put the pen in your other hand, did it take more or less time?
Yes. More. And it's getting, I found it difficult, very difficult.
And was the output
it is not a
better?
part of my habits.
Look at you. You're just leading right in. And was the output better or worse?
Come again?
The output, was it better or worse?
Worse.
And were you more or less stressed?
More stressed.
Okay. So you already know where I'm going. I know you like this already because you said,
I know.
what a good paradigm.
We got to make the paradigm shift.
If you do not know who you are, then when you have to be who you are not, if you have not practiced, you're going to be out of the zone.
Yes.
So you started this conversation by, how can we be our best selves? If we are not aware of who we are not going to be able to stay happy without understanding what skills we need to develop. Good, right?
Oh, goodness. It deeply resonate with me.
I could feel you, Jerome. So now, if you are not, are you right-handed or left-handed? I couldn't tell.
I'm a right-handed.
Okay, so I'm righty as well, which means if you and I metaphorically do not practice with our left hand, then when we have to write with our left hand, we're going to be all messed up. And if we don't practice, when we have to write with our left hand, we're not going to be creative. We're not going to be our best selves.
Yes.
We're not going to be superhuman. We're not going to be metahuman. We're not going to get what we asked for. We're going to be messed up. So the goal is to develop the skills that you don't naturally have. I like applause. Applause is good. Okay, so
I love that.
So here's the next tip. And because I'm a teacher, I always repeat myself. Tip number 1, pay attention to your thoughts and pivot and reframe as often as you can. Tip number 2, granularize, break down your emotions as much as you can so you can explain how you feel clearly. Number 3, stay away or minimize the negative people in your life. Now, even if you do all 3 of those things, but you don't know how to write with your left hand, it's not going to work. So, tip number 4 is to understand who you are. And I'm just going to do one dimension because of time. But I know the community is going to love this, and I know we're going to do this more. So stay tuned for that. And by the way, Jerome, don't you love that phrase, stay tuned?
I love it. Stay tuned. It just means that beautiful things are still on way, right?
And you want to stay tuned yourself, your energy. You want to be tuned.
Yes.
You want to be in tune. When you hear a song that is out of tune, you know it. So you don't want to be out of tune. You want to be aligned. And when you are aligned and in tune, that's when you are happy. See how it's all combined? It's the same story. All right, Jerome, we're just going to do dimension number 1 here. Okay?
Okay.
You see where it says extrovert, introvert?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we're just going to do this one only so I can make my example. So, Jerome, if you look at those lists of words, which one feels more like Jerome? The words under extrovert or the words under introvert? And again, it doesn't mean what you do. It means what you prefer. Which one feels more like Jerome?
To me, it's extroversion.
Extroversion. And that's without me even describing it. So let me give the community a little bit of information. This dimension answers a question, where do you get your energy from? It doesn't answer the question, are you social? You can love parties and be an introvert. What it means is, after a whole week of parties, introverts like to get their energy back by themselves. But extroverts can go to a party tired and then get all this energy and end up staying at the party till 2 a.m. because they have gotten more energy from people. Does that sound like you, Jerome?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Jerome, if I said to you,
yes,
for the next week, you're not going to do much interaction with people. You're going to go to conferences, take notes, no dinners with people, everything by yourself. At the end of the week, how is Jerome going to feel?
Maybe frustrated.
Is Jerome going to feel like A, B, or C?
Let me have a look at it.
Is Jerome going to feel A if he is asked to be an introvert for the week, or is he going to be in B or C? How is he going to feel after that?
It's not displaying the content accordingly.
Okay, hold on. Let me try again. Okay. Do you see it now, the emotional scale?
Yes.
Okay. So if I ask you, Jerome, to be an introvert for a week, where are you going to be at the end of that week?
Oh, I will feel uncomfortable.
Are you
Right.
Right. So are you going to be A, B, or C on this
Okay,
page?
let me say joy. Okay, okay. Yes, B. B.
Right. In other words, if you don't have the skills to be an introvert, then when you are asked to be an introvert, it's going to knock you out of the happy zone.
Yes.
And you are not going to be able to do all the great things that we've been talking about because you're not happy being an introvert.
Exactly.
Okay. So what is the tip? The tip is understand what you prefer and try to be in situations that honor and showcase what you prefer. But if you have to demonstrate the other skills, make sure you have practiced them.
Yes, because
does that make
sometimes,
sense?
yes, because sometimes as Joseph Campbell put it very well, he said, the cave you fear to enter, hold the treasure you seek. Sometimes we have to go out of our comfort zone and seek, and it makes us a little bit stretch, right? Yeah,
Right.
it's
But
not
you
an
can't go
easy task.
out of your comfort. You can't go out of your comfort zone happily if you don't have the skills.
Oh, yeah. It is true.
In other words, what if someone is introverted and they want to do a presentation? They got to learn how to do that.
Yes, so true. It's so misunderstood.
Okay. So now look at my picture again for the community. I see we have like 17, 18 of you out there. Look at this picture. The goal is to live life in A, in the middle, right?
Yes.
And you asked me basically at the beginning, Flory, how can people live a life in A? Where they can manifest and be happy and get rid of their emotional blocks. And we are talking now about your thoughts, but also your personality, because they are not able to be separated. Your thoughts and your personality are connected, so you have to be aware of your personality. Is this good so far?
Perfect.
So there are a lot of different types of people, and we're not going into all of these because of our time right now, but it's very important to understand yourself and the people in your world. So we have like 10 minutes left. I want to open it up to questions. There's so much we could talk about, but it goes so fast.
Yes, and Francine is about to leave. Before that, would you mind telling us, sharing, say, your insights, something? Yes.
So I've used Flory's tools because I had my own tools because I imagine cartoons and stuff when I get upset. So I put like people's heads on cartoon bodies and things like that in my head. But I started to use her tools so I put my brain someplace else, not to let people get me out of the vortex because I have a little bit of a little temper that can be very woo. So she's been very helpful. So I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry, my sinuses are off the charts right now, and I have to go lay down. But I just wanted to say goodbye to everyone. And Flory, I will see you in 2 weeks. And I really think that Jerome, you should talk to Flory about coordinating something bigger. The only thing is, like I said, the people that come into your Zoom things, it's not going to help your energy because if they stay, incognito and they don't have their videos and they're not interacting. So, if she was to come to Africa, they're going to have to participate. You know what I mean? So we need to have that rah rah.
Well, and if
Awesome.
we do an online course, they definitely would come on camera because we would have to, it'd be interactive. I want to ask George, I see now you're not cutting hair, so I can call on you. I think hearing from one of our key, one of our key members, George, who is a motivational speaker in and unto himself, has joined the community, helps me with social media, is a right hand in everything we do. But he's been also using these techniques in his life. George, maybe you can give them the 1 minute how, Awakened Events has helped, the concepts, the slingshot,
Well,
the whole
coming
thing.
into Awakened Events, I was in a slingshot moment, going through a divorce, having lost a business and taking a significant loss as I lost that business. And you were speaking about emotions. My emotions were so out of whack. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I actually went through a period of anxiety and depression, and it was a painful and trying experience. But I met Flory on my birthday last year, and I've been a part of this community for almost 10 to 11 months now. And my life has radically been transformed as a result of the information that, I've been able to learn as a direct result of Flory's mentorship. Like she said, the number one key is that level of awareness, having an understanding of who you are, the way that you were uniquely formed, and that's one of the things too, is like a lot of us are trying to fit in to a dynamic that's not for us. And then we find ourselves fighting against the grain when in all actuality, when we have an understanding of who we are and we get in alignment with our true identity, our unique identity and our true self, life begins to flow and things be able to come easy. So as you were talking about, Jerome, with the emotions, one of the biggest things that I look at this, man, is taking control over every thought. I don't know if we have any Bible believers in here, but I'm a believer. And the Bible says that we are to take every thought and hold it captive and place it underneath the obedience of the word of God. That can be translated by taking every thought, holding it captive, and placing it underneath the obedience of your unique true self, of your identity. Once you're able to identify who you are and the purpose for which you was created, and you now have those boundaries to which you can operate in, now every thought has to come into alignment with the vision that you have for your life, which has been set for your life. So awareness is number one. So once we take every thought and we hold it captive, now those thoughts are going to trigger what Jerome was talking about, the emotions, right? And a lot of times what happens is we find ourselves making emotional decisions based upon our emotions and not our rationale, not our thoughts, not our correct aligned thoughts. And that's what Awakened Events is all about. It's all about the awareness and about getting in alignment, being able to recognize those emotions, right? So that way you can regulate those emotions. So that way you could begin to make better choices and have more favorable outcomes in your life. One of the key terms that Flory always says here is that we live a life by design and not by default. And that's what these tools and what this information actually gives you access to. It gives you the tools, it gives you the processes, and it gives you everything that you need so that way you can begin to create the life that you've envisioned for yourself that's in alignment with your true identity. So I tell you guys, man, you are not here by accident. Everything is a divine connection. The steps of a good man are ordained by the Lord. And I believe that God has brought us all here together, universe, source, whatever it is that you call it, has brought us here together because there's something that God wants to do in your life. The universe wants to do in your life. Source wants to do in your life, to where it wants to take you from where you are to where it is that you have been predestined to be. Because he says that he foreknew you before you were even formed in your mother's wombs. He knew the plans that he had for you to prosper you, to give you a hope, and to have an expected end. And these are going to be the tools that you are going to need in order to go from where you are to where it is that you were predestined to be.
Let me tell you, George, if I
Wow, let us give him a hand. It is so inspiring. Thank you so much. I will reach out to you through Flory. Thank you so much.
Flory.
God bless you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, and Jerome, if we, obviously when we do something more together, George will be involved. And George, I already mentioned to Jerome about our course for young people.
Yes.
And Jerome, that's my sister who just came on camera. That's one of my sisters, Kathy.
Wow.
She's been to a lot of courses. She's a big supporter. I want to mention something else to the community. And that's the saying that one of our favorite sayings, but this is also, by the way, George, an agricultural effort. That's what Jerome spends a lot of his time doing, the agriculture in Africa. And one of our favorite sayings is, you reap what you sow. And that really means the thoughts you are thinking today are like the seeds you are planting. And what you reap in the future are results of the thoughts you're thinking today. So if you are farmers out there, and that resonates, but I'm not a farmer, and I still love the saying because it is so powerful that you might go through a phase where you're not seeing the reaping, but that's okay. It's because all the seeds have been planted and the reaping is coming. And you just have to have that belief to know. And so with the agricultural background, I love that you call you guys entrepreneurs, right? Agricultural entrepreneurs. So everything that we've talked about today so far is to help you sow the crop that you want.
And the good thing about that is too, is that inside of the seed is where the harvest exists. You never plant without the expectation of that seed producing. And you understand that there's a process that once the seed is planted, that you have to nurture that seed. God says that he gives one to plant, one to water, and he'll give the increase. We know that the minute that we plant, we don't automatically reap, that there's a process that has to happen, right? When the seed goes into the ground, in order for it to break forth and to spring into the new life, that seed must first die. So what's going to happen is as you become transformed by the renewing of your mind, a lot of things are going to have to fall off and die in your life in order for you to take root, right? And then break through the darkness of the ground and begin to gravitate towards the light, to where you can become, where you get to that place in your life to where you begin to bear fruit. And we have an understanding of this, that a tree never eats its own fruit. A tree never eats its own fruit. It's always for somebody else. I understand that what I went through, although I was able to go through it by me being connected to Flory and her nurturing that seed to where now I'm entering into a season of fruitfulness, that fruit isn't for me. It's going to be for others to be able to come and to be able to partake, to be nourished. So you never know what the end result is going to be once you plant that seed and once that harvest comes. You never know who's going to be the weary traveler that's going to cross your path, that's going to pick from your tree and find sustenance, that's going to find nourishment. So that way they can go on and continue their journey, on the path of discovery to who they are and all that it is that they were created to be as well.
I want to end with this saying that George just beautifully said. You have no doubt when you plant the seed that it will grow. You have an unwavering knowing. And that's what we need for our futures. We need an unwavering knowing. And one thing, these are all just words if you don't have the tools. The reason you have unwavering knowing is because you have the tools. So the farmer doesn't plant the seed with his hands and think it's good. He has the tools. And that is what this is all about, understanding the concepts and the tools to have unwavering knowing, so you reap what you sow and you realize that starts with your thoughts.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's just mind-blowing. I'm so overjoyed. God bless you. Thank you so much, Flory. Thank you, George. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you as well, brother.
Jerome, we will WhatsApp and talk. And
Sure.
I want to say thank you to the community. I know we still have a group of people on. And just the fact that I can be here in Connecticut in the United States and you can be in Africa,
Okay, yes.
we never would have imagined this. So imagine what we can imagine.
Yes.
What was once unbelievable is now reality. Just to give you an idea, what we can create and imagine in the future is limitless.
Yes,
and I look forward, and George does, and I know my husband would talk, but he's driving. So we all look forward to impacting your community because, as George said, or as I say all the time, blessing never is one way. We will bless each other.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Be blessed. I love you. God bless you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good day. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye for now. Thank you. Good day.
Bye, Ivan. Thanks for joining.
Ivan, my brother.
Bye.
lots of opportunity for everyone, Jerome, in your community. So I'll text you and you and I will follow up.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Jerome,
Talk to you
Jerome,
soon.
I'll leave you with this one, right? It says the blessings of the Lord maketh a man rich, right?
Yes.
And when we look at that word rich, we're not just talking about material wealth.
Yes.
We're talking about being rich in all of the pieces of our life.
Absolutely.
Right? And it says that he adds no sorrow to it. The sorrow comes when we're out of alignment. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beautiful thing about this, because we can take this to scripture.
Yes.
This goes all the way back to the word. The blessings of the Lord maketh the man rich. That means in all the areas of your life. That's true wealth, that's true abundance, and that's true riches there in all of the pieces of your life. Your physical, your emotional, your aspirational, your cerebral, and your spiritual, your ethereal, right? And it says that he adds no sorrow to it. So a lot of times in America, we use the term grinding. But grinding only signifies the wearing away of. What Flory teaches us how to do is how to flow. How to get in the frequency, right? Yes. And begin to flow in that frequency and allow the frequency to carry us to our destiny.
Yes, exactly. When we get on the
man, look forward to growing with you.
Start changing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And everything begins with a thought.
Jerome, absolutely. I don't know if I mentioned, now that we're, talking of these international activities, I am going to Cuba in January.
Okay.
And I was found, if you will, and I'm going to be creating an entrepreneurial program for Cuban entrepreneurs. So I'm up for anything, wherever I am guided to go. But I do think initially we can do a virtual course for your crowd. I think they would love it.
All right. Well noted.
So let us know the feedback you get. Yeah, and let us know the feedback from today. That would be helpful.
Yes.
All right. George, I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Flory. Jerome, where you at in Africa?
In Benin.
And where?
Benin. Benin is near Nigeria.
Oh, okay, yeah. I follow somebody from Nigeria, Apostle Joshua Selman. Koinonia Global.
In Nigeria?
He's in Nigeria. You should check him out. Koinonia Global. He's right there in Nigeria. Very, very powerful spiritual leader. Wow. And he speaks of what we're living out from a biblical perspective. It's not one of those things to where, everything the church says about manifestation and vibrations and frequency is taboo. He says, no, all of this is rooted in the word, and we can find it in the word. And once we learn how to accurately apply these principles to our life, that's how we're able to create the destiny that God desires for us. So if you get an opportunity, check out Apostle Joshua Selman, right there in Nigeria. He has he's in Abuja and Zaria.
Okay.
That's where his base is.
Sound interesting. We'll reach out to you.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Let's stay connected, man. Much love. God bless you.
Thank you. I love you. God bless you.
Flory, if nobody told you they love you today, you remember I do.
I know.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Love you, Flory. Bye for now. Thank you.
I love you. Yeah, Jerome, very nice comments too. I just got to read some in the chat, so all good. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye for now.